Yeah. Okay, so you can. And the other thing she said, so that owl is gonna turn to people in the room. Until, yeah, and those at home should be using headphones if they really want to hear clearly.
Okay.
So I'm gonna walk and see if the owl is going to. Are you in?
I'm in. Did you see, you said something about full screen?
Yeah, it's a, if you want, so it's probably
Okay.
up there. Who else is in? Oh, that's just you. No, who's got headphones on? We don't have headphones on.
Hey, this is Mary.
Are you there?
Hi, Mary.
Call back.
Hmm?
Call you.
There.
I see it says Beverly Sewell at the bottom of our screen.
Yeah,
So it is Bev's we're using.
okay.
David's in, not on.
Am I in there?
There. We don't see
That's
you.
David.
Wait a minute.
Where? Who's that?
Ah,
Okay, that's Bob,
that's cool.
David.
How's that?
Hello.
I don't know if
I don't
anybody
need to
else
see
is
me.
coming in.
Hello.
I see Mike. I see David. Oh, I see Robert. I don't see Henry.
Mike,
I'm here.
Hi, Henry.
hey, Mike, Jimmy Santos will not be attending tonight. He just called me. He's out of town. He's tied up, so.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Um,
So does it, is this thing looking at me
yes. So just-
here and there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. It works.
What, does that have a camera too? Or is that just?
I think it's just here, and then that, the owl is the camera. This little
Oh.
guy is the camera.
That, well, because this one has a camera, because this one's the point.
Yeah, it too. But supposedly the owl has to focus on people talking in the room, and it turns
Oops.
on your volume of your voice. I don't know if it's turned over here yet. Obviously, it doesn't see me yet. So it hasn't, it's turned yet, I guess.
Okay. And,
Let me just see if I can get over here and see if I can pick up anything different.
well, that's right, I think it's picking up sound. Sorry, guys, we are clearly, you know, getting used to this,
We're getting used to the owl.
the owl.
Supposedly the owl is supposed to pick up. I didn't ask her this. It might only pick up my voice. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you, Bill.
So it may only pick up my voice, not seeing me
Not
actually.
seeing, okay.
Mike, I have these reports, if you want.
Oh, okay.
I got all of them.
All right.
Want them. I didn't know how many was coming in and not coming in.
Yeah. But I think we have a quorum,
What do we have?
we have, so Henry, Mary, David, Bob. You know, that's 7, so we're good,
Okay.
we're good.
I'm coming. Hold on.
Hey, Mike, I wanted to join you down there in the town, but last week I fractured a rib and I'm a little out of commission on the men, so.
Oh, dear.
So that's why I'm not there in person. Otherwise I would have been down there.
I told you that sumo wrestling camp wasn't a good idea, but you didn't
Yeah.
want to listen to me.
Yeah, fun is.
Yeah. All right, so,
Who am I missing?
Have a quorum yet?
No, I got David, Bob, Mike.
yeah, we have a quorum.
We got, how many people? We got 11 people on the commission, don't we?
No, well, no, it's
Right?
you, Mary, David, Bob, Phyllis, and myself, that's 7.
Oh, I don't see,
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
I
4,
don't see
5, 6, 7.
Phyllis
Yeah,
is not showing up on my,
Well, because,
Have people in the town hall.
Phyllis and I are at the town hall.
okay, I gotcha.
there we go. Ah, I'm back.
Yeah, I'll do it. You go ahead. I don't know if anybody else is just gonna commit.
Yeah, well, they can join us later.
Yep.
Okay, so, welcome everybody to our first hybrid meeting, and hope to see you all in person soon. And what you can't see here is Phyllis and I have cocktails. We just whipped up margaritas. But
Wait, I'm on my way. I'm on my
Yeah,
way.
well, I changed my
Okay.
mind. I changed my mind, Mike. I'll be down.
Roll.
we got the disco ball, you know, with the lights and the whole thing. All right, okay, so here we go. 9:05, call the meeting to order.
Try 7.
Excuse me, 7:05, thank you very much, Steve. Okay, so we have the minutes from the last meeting. Do we have any edits, additions, deletions for those? With that said, I'll entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes.
Motion to accept.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. And, all right, so all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
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 So,
I'm abstaining because I wasn't present.
fair enough, thank you. All right, and we have an audience of citizens. Hi Kathy.
Hey, Kath.
I muted myself out of kindness. I will mute myself again. Thank you all for doing this. I know it's a volunteer thing. We all appreciate it.
Excellent,
Thank you,
so
Kath.
I know you had some specific concerns. We can address those now if you'd like, or we can, it is an agenda item tonight, so we can wait until then if you want to hang out with us until we get there.
I will, anyway, whatever works best for you guys.
Well, it's totally up to you. This is the audience of citizens portion of our meeting, so it's certainly a time where you can express your opinions and share any thoughts.
Go for it.
So,
Kathy, before you do, what's your actual address, please?
48 Route 87, Columbia, Connecticut.
Okey-doke, thank you.
Did you all, I emailed Mike. Did you all see the email I sent Mike?
Did I? I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
can
Kath.
read it if you want.
yeah,
Yeah, just give us a synopsis, whatever works best, Kath.
Well, I have to tell you that there's a buoy and it's for, my understanding is it's to test the water
Ah, yes.
down this end of the lake. Actually, when it first appeared, I thought to myself, wow, the sailboat buoy must have blown all the way, you know, I don't know, the ice moved it or whatever, and they marked it to move it back. And then it, you know, then I saw both of them, and then I realized that it's there to test the water. I have to tell you that it bothered me. It bothers me to see it. It's like you have this beautiful water, open water, and there's a big white floating object in the middle. I realize it serves a purpose, although we've been testing our water for a long, long time. Let's just say that, decades really, without one. And
No, excuse me, that was there and had been used for decades. It's only when we stopped testing that it stopped being used.
So we weren't testing the water last year?
No, no, specific to ecosystem, our consultant has been testing without a buoy. Henry, I think what you're referring to is now we are supplementing that with a weekly. Is
And
that
we
correct?
we had been doing that before. LMAC had tested this, and the buoy dates from Dick Schifrin's time, and I'm drawing a blank on the guy who became chair after him. That was the retired police officer.
Mark
Mark, yeah.
Coleman.
And then John also maintained the buoy there for a while. It was only after Bob Powell stopped testing that the buoy stopped being used. It was used and is being used to mark the deep spot of the lake, which has been found as a result of engineering work that confirmed the area in which it is, but the exact location of the buoy was found by doing hand soundings to locate the deep spot and to mark it so that we can continuously go back to the same spot to do it, as had been done in the past. I will agree that the buoy may be bigger than it needs to be,
Thank you.
but it was what the selectmen had put together historically, and so it was just reused.
I'm curious, Kathy, what is your issue? You mentioned bothersome, and I can tell you it bothered my better half when we were out the other day, and I had to explain to her what it was. Are you suggesting any solutions to make it smaller or less intrusive or?
Well, I do have to say that, so it bothered me, but Dan enlightened me, I'll be honest with you first. And then on the 4th or the 3rd, maybe it was even the 2nd, 2 other neighbors around this end were asking me about what that buoy was for. So it isn't just me. And then I felt, I've only been where I am right now for 11 years, and there hasn't been a buoy there for 11 years. I don't know. When we were up the hill, I don't believe there was a buoy there. So maybe for the last 15 years, I can safely say there was not a buoy there. I don't know when the buoy left and was there earlier. Henry seems to know. It doesn't really matter. It matters to me that we at least use a smaller buoy. I've been out in the boat and I noticed that the ski buoys that mark the slalom course are significantly smaller and tend to blend more in with the water. That's at least a step in the right direction, if you ask me.
I'd be willing to donate a skier buoy ball if you want.
I don't know what a skier buoy ball is, but
that's the one that you're referring to, the smaller ski buoy.
Yeah, they're soft.
The round one, right?
If I remember, Mark Coleman had a small orange buoy that he put out, but it was nowhere near out that far from the dam. It was, and it wasn't always out there. It was maybe 100, 200 feet from the dam. That's all. This one's out a little bit farther.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I will be honest.
That was expressed also by some people.
I mean, if you're saying that's the exact location it has to be, can't we use landmarks to determine that? Where, I mean, I see a flagpole on land that lines up directly. I realize that the water changes all the time and the wind and and I know you have to get a good reading. And now that it's once a week, I guess you're monitoring it. Is this year round, these readings that you're taking every week?
No.
So technically, if you wanted to, you could use a GPS. I mean, every phone has it, and you'd be within 10 feet of the mark if you wanted to. I don't know if you use that to hold yourself in place when you're out there, Henry, but
Well, look, I'm trying to make it simple, okay? This is the way it's been done in the past. It's easy to go out and pick up the buoy and do the reading and leave. If we make it more complicated, it takes longer. with a smaller buoy. I mean, this has been, and the location is almost identical. It had been off of Wheelers and Judd's before, and that's basically where it is. It's on the other side of the lake from Kathy. But if a smaller buoy and Marine Patrol isn't concerned about other people hitting it, and I think it's sufficiently into the cove that it's out of the normal path of boat traffic. We could try one of Dave's yellow buoys or green buoys or whatever he wants that would be willing to do. There's no reason that it needs to be that big. That just happens to be the buoy the town has for this purpose.
If I may, I'd suggest, Kathy, I know it's not just you, and I know it's been brought to my attention, as I've mentioned, not only in this household, but beyond. Why don't we consider a smaller buoy, check with the ecosystems and see how they measure, because they're measuring every month consistently, and see if there's something else, but at least get to a smaller buoy. Because that is large, and it was recognized and noticed by a number of skiers the other day.
And there is a lot of boat traffic down here. Are you saying this is where they've always, I don't really stand what Henry just said. It was
Yeah.
down here before?
Consistently, we've measured the water quality by the clarity of the water at that spot, within that range of that spot. But now it's been buoyed to be consistent to measure the water quality. That's my understanding.
Right. Where is Willards? Who's Willards and who's Dunn's? And I don't know. Henry,
yeah.
I didn't understand what Henry was saying.
I said Wheelers and Judd. Those were the former owners of the two houses that
Correct.
the buoy is in front of.
All right,
Henry,
I'm following you now. Okay.
Okay.
Henry,
I thought
you
it was
talk
somewhere
Muffy's,
else before we got-
Yeah.
you talk Muffy's language. She's always saying the Judds and this, and I'm like, who are they? The Rams
Yeah.
live there, and you know.
Okay, all right. So it's always been measured from this spot, but it hasn't
Exactly.
always been buoyed because, well, I
Correct.
know it hasn't always been buoyed.
Correct.
And for different reasons. And now you're doing it once a week instead of once a month, yet someone else is still doing it monthly?
Our consultant does it monthly, and we supplement it now weekly, and Henry is the chosen one to be measuring the water quality.
Okay, so, and we can do it with the GPS, but we're gonna try a smaller buoy first.
I'm not
that
sure
would-
that we can do it with a GPS. I don't know how to navigate with the cell phone to find a position. I can certainly know you can set a position with a cell phone, but I'm not sure it's how to use it for finding. If we bought a $1,000 GPS navigation system for a boat,
No, you don't.
we could find it. But
No.
we're doing it the simplest way. By
No,
looking at-
If you put an app in your phone, you just put in the
Exactly.
number that you recorded the first time and it kind of gives you an arrow and points you there and tells you when you're on the spot.
There's a Compass app that allows you to do that for free. I have it on my phone.
If we listen to what Henry was saying that he goes over there and he actually uses that line to help position himself. So if you're just relying purely on a GPS, if there's any wind or current or whatever, someone's gonna need to be positioning the boat constantly in order to stay in that spot using the GPS. So it really is gonna take two people to do it. If I'm hearing you accurately, Henry, you're actually using that line to position the boat, right?
Yeah, and two people could to do it. I mean, it just somebody, I guess, can help zero in on the GPS, but then somebody's got to throw an anchor over once you've achieved the location. And as Dave says, it's, probably plus or minus 10 feet. So it's not as accurate as taking one in the same place every time because you got the anchor down. So, if we can do a buoy that's less intrusive, or at least try it, that would be certainly the easiest fix.
I agree. And then just check with what are other possible options as we move forward, if needed.
So who knows about buoys? Because I don't, but I only know the water skiing buoy. Is that something, or I don't even know how much I'm saying, but I'll be probably happy to purchase it. Where do I, I'll have to Google it and see if I can find it on Amazon, I guess. I don't know
No.
where it is. I don't know where to get it.
David, you may have some. I know in the Marine Patrol boat house, there were some red small ones. So I think we could look into that and try to figure it out.
Can
in
we
the
try
next
to get
couple
one
weeks.
that blends in a little bit? I'm sorry, I'll
hear
be
you.
quite honest with you.
I hear you.
And it is a number of neighbors down here. When they ask, I tell them, and if you want names, I can get more people, but I don't really want it to turn into something like that.
Well,
And
Mike-
I should offer
Mike-
to help.
Mike, I'm happy to look into it and next month, come back and report and maybe even do something if we can find a less intrusive, smaller buoy. I know there are a couple little red ones down there.
I thought Dave volunteered to supply one,
Oh, Dave, did you?
land one.
Where do you go?
He's.
Looks like we lost him.
Ah,
All right, so either way, we'll look at another type of buoy. Kathy, does that seem like a reasonable solution?
Yeah, that would be great.
I
Okay.
volunteer to check in with Dave if we don't get him back, and then we'll figure it out and see if we can get something out there. And there's writing on that buoy. It's silly writing. I forget what it was. And it's like, we looked at it just the other day. It's funny that you brought it to our attention because what is that?
I feel like
Okay.
a whiner, but it's pretty abrasive. It really is. It really
All
is.
right.
Although it serves a great purpose. Hey, are you guys going
Absolutely.
to talk geese at this meeting? Or is
What?
there, do you ever talk about the geese on the lake?
Oh, we will at
Yeah.
the CLA. Come to our meeting.
Hold on,
That's what I thought you'd say.
But Mike can address that because we have.
hold on one second. Just someone's joined in. Someone's joined in by phone. Could you please identify yourself?
Oh, 917.
Hello?
It's a 917 area code. I'm looking at it, yeah. 77228.
And someone, if you can't identify yourself, I will have to remove you from the meeting. I just, can you please identify yourself?
917-721. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, okay.
Good going.
I just got a phone call. I'm not sure if that came in.
No, is, someone else, someone decided not to identify themselves. I can't have someone in the meeting if they're not identified.
Yeah.
So, okay, so to, the second, does anybody want to cover the geese? Because yes, we have.
Well, Mike, before we move on, did we address Kathleen's concern? It sounds like we're going to wait another month before we do something, or we're going to change the buoy right away.
No, I'm happy to reach out to Dave and work with Dave if he has something, and then work
Okay.
with the town to make sure that we can make an adjustment before the next meeting.
Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, all right, great. Sorry.
All right, I'll go out and check
good
it out
point.
tomorrow and see what it looks like. And, I got plenty of buoys, ropes, clips and things.
Do you, Dave? Okay.
Yeah, I got everything.
You mean,
I
you
can
know,
meet you. I
you
can
drive
meet you
by
over
the
there.
water skiing ones and you can hardly see them, so it's probably going to be much better
Yeah,
for the view.
What color do you want?
blue.
Clear.
Chartreuse.
I don't know what.
I got orange, I got yellow,
How about clear?
I got green.
There's good. Perfect.
A weathered yellow one would be good. Dave, why don't we get together, because I've got the anchor that's down there and we can just substitute it or replace it, whatever, with a line that works. So give me a shout, and we can either use my utility boat or your boat and take care of it.
Listen, I
Thanks,
could
guys.
probably change a buoy with Dan. I probably can, if you give it to me.
Nah, don't worry about it.
Has the buoy, so it'll be pretty quick to do, so we'll just do that. All
Henry
right?
will be going out to measure anyways, so might as well coordinate it.
All right, well, thank you.
So
Yeah.
tomorrow's Thursday.
Kathy, did you have a question about the geese?
I have a lot of fun facts about geese. They actually add 2 pounds of waste into the lake per day per goose.
Really?
Geese.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very
think-
familiar with the
I think it's a
research.
quarter pound in everyone's docks too.
Yeah, and that's what ends up in the lake, and that
Right.
is phosphorus rich. It's not good stuff.
Hmm.
Kathy, we tried and we actually met with a wildlife person from Deep who helped us understand we've got to get them before they get on the lake to try to addle the eggs or disrupt the eggs so that they don't recreate. We failed this year, and we've now identified where they are because they were nowhere on the lake, and they happen to be up the Erdoney Road Basin stream. So I think next year we need a more rigorous effort to do that, because 28 geese this year can become 56 very quickly.
Mhm.
And I can tell you it's become a CLA agenda item for our meeting because I have so many people complaining. There is a product that has been experimented with that is a naturally occurring product called Stop the Drop.
No, I read about it.
It's
Right.
expensive, but it works until it rains. And we've had so much rain, we've had to keep reapplying to the actually 3 lawns on Erdoney Road that we're kind of experimenting it with. But it's a really expensive product. So we want to make sure it works before we'd recommend it to anybody.
Mary, I just bought a bark motion detector for the DeRochers. I said, I have one for my cousin in Glastonbury
Yeah,
detector, and it barks and it moves as they move. So I'm gonna give it to them to try to see if it's gonna deter the geese as they come up over their wall.
that's a good point. It's, there are 2 other thoughts. One is if you have a motion on your sprinkler system, they'll get off the lawn very quickly if you have a sprinkler system. The other is we're looking into lasers and lights. Apparently they don't like lasers. Someone mentioned that. Mike, I think it was you last time.
I did some research on it. There's a commercial grade laser that is like $3,000. It would, handheld, it needs to be sighted at the geese so what I don't know is there proprietary technology specific in that laser to geese? Or is that just is it a green laser beam that would work, because there are plenty of other green high-powered lasers that we can buy for hundreds of dollars, although they do still take someone there to actually utilize it, and they do have limited ability to deter the geese the brighter it is, so they do better in darker skies or during the evening or whatever.
Yeah.
So And there is also, and I didn't get too far down this road, a lot like the barking.
It
thing.
deters other animals too.
So they have, and it kind of, it has a laser grid pattern, and it senses motion and will turn on
Mhm.
and start to cycle the laser around.
Don't chase them around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this one doesn't necessarily chase it around, but it senses the motion, and then it does like a random pattern with the laser. So I have been doing some research on that laser thing, and then there's a number of other louder solutions that.
Well, I know it works there. I don't know if it'll work here, but I'm gonna give it to them this week, and they're gonna try it out to see if it helps. So,
Okay.
and that's only like $39.
Oh,
Okay.
So-
Phyllis, let me know before the CLA meeting, because we're gonna talk about it. There are a lot of upset people.
I
Yeah.
have a decoy coyote that I'm gonna.
Have you tried, because I tried using those very early on, and they just like to poop near it. They didn't, it didn't really do much. I get it, you know, maybe there are other types that you know, that work, but I didn't have a high success rate with the decoy. And I also tried the I think it was crushed grape skins or something. It was a natural, you know, material to apply to the lawn. You know, I guess it was bitter or something like that. And that also, you know, fail.
The stop the drop is a part of a rhubarb plant. It actually works.
Okay.
They eat it, they get upset tummies, and they won't come back.
Ooh,
But it goes off with rain, and we've had a fair amount of rain, or if after 2 or 3 mowings of your lawn, so you have to reapply it. And it's $100 a quart. It's a pricey item.
Oh,
Yeah,
How much was it? I didn't hear that.
$100 a quart. And you can you apply it with a little spray thing. It's oh, I forget. You can dilute it to 1.5 gallons, so you can probably get 5 sprays out of it on, you know, a good acre. One of the properties we're experimenting it with is the Nyardes, who have that huge hill on Erdoney Road going up to their new home, and it's worked very well until it rains. And then we got to reapply it. And
And this-
Gustafson's also has told us it's worked well on their property.
This generation of geese, at least from my experience, you know, if I could get them deterred early in the season, they typically wouldn't come back. But this has been a constant battle this season. And so obviously, you know, I don't know what's changed, but I mean, my kids go down and throw rocks at them. You know, just to get them away from the house or from the lawn.
Want to borrow a Great Dane? I got one.
There you go.
Our little Scotty keeps them off our lawn better than anything else.
But
We
do
just
they,
have to be home.
do you
we just
ever
have-
get do you ever get one of the geese standing up to your dog? I've had
Nope.
I've had them stand up to Grace.
yeah, they can be
Well,
dangerous. They can
they can-
they can come after you.
Yeah,
I've
they
seen
can
that.
come, they weren't leaving.
We've never seen them go after Sophie. And Sophie's a 20-pound Scottish Terrier. She sees him, she rips right after him, and they're off our lawn.
I think it's the
But
barking.
she's
Got to be the bark. It's got to be the bark.
It's the
Yeah,
bark.
she barks.
Yeah, the bark is what gets them. And you know, they don't like the bark, because our neighbor's dog will go out, but the neighbor's dog doesn't bark.
Oh.
So, they just sort of, you know, flex their wings at her, and it doesn't do much, so.
Yeah, no, ours just goes right after him, and we've never had an issue. However, we have to be home. When we come home sometimes, I'm picking up gallons of that stuff.
Yeah.
See the bark collar and see if that works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a collar, it's a unit. We'll see if
Yeah.
that bark
Yeah.
works with the DeRoches.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll look forward to hearing about it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Kath.
Okay.
And Kathy, you're more than welcome to join us for the rest of the meeting, if you'd like. We're just gonna, and if you're, are you all set with all the items you have?
I am all set. Again, thank you all for your time. We all appreciate it.
Great.
Thanks, Kath. Give our best to Dan.
I will. Bye.
And so another communication is that Carl Foster has resigned formally from LMAC, so we will certainly miss him. He is staying on board to help with the RFP for the data gathering, water testing and consultation services. So thanks to him for that.
I missed that. Mike, who are you saying's resigning?
Carl.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
After 11 years, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
So that leaves 2 openings on lake management now.
Okay.
All right.
So that'll be, I think probably new business. We'll put that in new businesses to develop, recruitment
Yep.
for lake management membership.
Okay.
And I can talk to Mike, or if anybody else sees Mike, if you could, encourage him to join the meetings monthly. And again, I will talk to him as well, but for those of you who may be seeing him around the lake, it'd be nice to remind him of the meetings.
Who are we talking about?
Mike Armstrong.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure he's in town.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think he's missed the last 2 meetings, so.
Okay. Happy to, I see him when he's paddling, so on his way down to the
Yeah.
camp. So, okay.
Um,
Do you want the marine patrol? No, you're not a marine patrol for it. No, okay.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm taking some notes. And, okay, so committee reports, anything on the dam?
I guess quite a bit on the dam. We had a little bit of a flood there. What happened is we learned a lot, if you ask me, about the gate as well as the overflow. Let me just say, right now, we're at the even level. It's about 1 inch going over. Both of the weep holes are flowing about 15%, which is more. But anyway, we had the heavy rain, 5 inches of rain in one day, brought us eventually up to plus 12 inches.
Mhm.
And the overflow didn't seem to be handling it. I was kind of surprised, and Beth went over and opened it, fully open overnight for one night, and it brought it right down to 9 inch, plus 9.
Plus 8.5, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have the exact numbers, but then it started to go back up when she closed it. I was kind of surprised, and so I went over on a Sunday night, opened it up 18 inches, and boy, did it really blew the water out. I didn't expect it to do that. It probably 3 times the water that came over the overflow at one time. It was really, really blowing out of there, and it took off 6 inches in about 6 hours.
Mhm.
And so then we let the overflow do its thing.
Yep.
And but it was surprising that it lasted so long after the rain. It just wouldn't go down. So we learned that we can dump it a lot quicker than I ever thought by
Mhm.
opening up that
Right.
gate. So
It's the hydraulic pressure of the surface of the body of the water and the depth of which it's coming off. You can ask Mark Vining, who experienced it firsthand.
well, I actually did talk to Mark, and during his, whatever you want to call it, he did some calculations and he said it was 60,000 gallons a minute when the gate is open all the way. So that's an awful lot of water.
Holy
And,
moly,
uh,
that
yeah,
is.
I tried to do calculations, cubic feet moving, so many, I got lost. I thought I knew what I was talking about, but I have no idea. Someone might know, but all I know is the gate really took it off much more quickly than I wanted, I ever thought it would, and that's just great. And so now I think if we have trouble again, we can just, you know,
Manipulate.
wait till there's trouble and just blow it out of here real quick. So that's
Well,
probably the best way.
yeah, as long as we don't have a mechanical failure. The only other thing I would say, and you got the diving equipment, Dave, maybe at some point when it's closed, we should check the weir part of that is underwater, and make sure that, that we haven't sucked up a lot of debris against it as a result of all of that force and pressure, so that it isn't in the way of it doing the job again, and maybe to ascertain whether we need to do anything to keep fish from going downstream.
Yeah, I've never really seen what opens. I know there's like 3 big cement blocks with holes in it. One may have settled and there's a little opening between 2 of them. I saw from the surface, but it just it's definitely able to pull it out. I don't know if it took so much that it sunk a hole in the lake. I don't think so, because it's been there a long time. But
Yeah, but
we could investigate it. Yeah.
We haven't opened it that much. It may have sucked a lot of muck in front of it and created a channel, which would be fine too. But it would be part of our learning curve to just figure it out. That's all I'm suggesting.
Yep, we can look down at it when the water's down. Maybe if we go over there with a canoe, you'd be able to see pretty good in the winter when the water's still open. Might be a good idea to investigate there. I'm not real crazy about jumping in the water with a tank near there after Mark's episode, but
well, he did it with the gate open. we would promise we wouldn't open it on you.
Yeah, Dave, go down, go down.
Yeah. Okay.
I double dog dare you, Dave.
Hey, Dave, quick question. Who fills out those little dam reports, you or Beth? Is that a Beth thing?
Beth has been doing them on a regular basis. I stopped doing that. She does it. She's out there every day and she files them every time she goes down there.
Okay, and during this particular storm, I was out there. I took some video, and I also she asked me about the inlets. The reports for July 10, 11, and 12 have on the reports the inlet and the water coming into the lake was quote unquote low. And I can tell you the water coming in the lake was not low. It was over the banks at the Erdoney Road Basin. It was rushing from the Lake Road Basin culverts. So I just think, and I can make mention of it to Beth, it's that we should be accurate with our report, because there was a ton of water spilling in and it was not low.
I'm hopefully, I think she knows we're talking about Erdoney Road, but I'm not really sure.
She kept texting me, asking me about Erdoney Road Basin.
Yeah.
So
it was flowing.
I sent her some video. I sent it to Mike and a few other folks, you too, I think, just so you knew that this water is going to be here for a while. Therefore, we should consider whatever it is you guys do in terms of the dam opening, et cetera. But just to be accurate.
Yeah. I'm happy with the way the gate worked. I thought, we might have been a little behind on opening it, but I think it worked pretty good.
Well, I don't think anybody anticipated, because we were at a -4 when this rain started, and we went up to a +12.
Yeah.
Who would have thought in 3 days, And frankly, there were a few agita issues with some people. I think most people were very pleased to see the lake fill be at high water mark, and everybody's enjoying it. So I
Yeah.
think we resolved it to the best of our ability.
Yep.
Well, I guess I would just like to formally say thank you to the whole team for all the work that was put into to manage the levels and everybody contributing information and you know, taking action. So thank you to everyone on that.
Yep. I thought it worked good. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And I think the communications to at least the email list we have for the CLA helped to allay a lot of agita. I don't know if you heard any over on Woodland, because I got phone calls from some of your neighbors. But
Sure.
I think we were fine.
Dave, what was the temperature? Do you know?
What was that?
What was the temperature?
The temperature's about 78,
78, yeah, it was,
but it has been fluctuating. Last week it went down, you know, a little lower, 75, but
yeah, it was 75 degrees here.
Yeah.
Yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, I'm surprised how much it fluctuates, but day to day. Of course, I'm measuring next to that big cement pier, and that does absorb a little heat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Excellent. Water quality?
The report from Ecosystem has us with a big thumbs up. I've asked Ecosystem, and I've copied, I think, most of you on this. When they send these reports, and this was a suggestion from Carl, who I saw 2 days ago, give us the gist in the email body of, here's the report, it looks good, actions to be taken or no actions to be taken. Because we're just getting an Excel file full of stuff that I or Henry or somebody would have to read and interpret. So they have agreed to do that moving forward. And I think as we get to requests for proposal, those are the types of communications we're looking for. So we don't have to do the work. That's why we have a consultant, so they can tell us how we doing and is there anything we need to do. Henry, I don't know if you looked at it or not, Henry, or if your stuff supplements what they say.
I did not have a chance to look at the at what they had reported, but we definitely have developed a thermocline, even though the water was a bit murky after the storm, because it did promote some algal growth and so forth. But we've lost a meter of sedgy visibility in since the beginning of the year, about or a little bit more than a meter at this point, and that's as a result of the establishment of a thermocline. So, which is good to keep the nutrients on the bottom until the lake turns over.
Yep. Cool.
All right. Excellent. Anything else on water quality? All right. Fishing, any reports on fishing? No. Access, safety, and regulations. Did we get a report from?
Yeah, we did. Marine Patrol.
Yeah.
Go on, read that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, in the month of June, 33 stickers were issued to boats passing inspection. There were 115 non-motorized vessels that passed inspections. There was one boat turned away for being over horsepower. On the boat, 14 warnings were given for various reasons. The majority are jet skis, breaking ordinances, and or too close to shore. No navigation lights, a few reports of boaters ignoring the blue light. There were also 4 tows. There have been many requests for no wake buoys 100 feet out from the Erdoney swim area and 100 feet out from the town boat mooring area. So, I don't know if we want to put that no wake buoy thing back on the agenda, for next time.
We had trouble with DEP with the no wake buoys. They had historically been around the town beach and off the boat launch. And this was before my time on the committee, obviously, but it was, I think, when Mark Coleman was on Marine Patrol and also on the committee, somehow the DEP figured out we had those there and that we had not, because they were aids to navigation and we hadn't filed permits to have them. We couldn't have them, and the solution was we didn't want DEP to be involved in the lake, so we just removed them. So if we're to go with no wake buoys, I don't think we can do them on our own without that risk again. Now, a number of years have passed, so we could do it again until somebody else followed. But I just shared that information, and I don't have firsthand experience. That's from what I remember my dad saying.
Okay.
Mike, is it specific to just 2 locations or other areas on the lake as well?
This request here, or this report is just pointing out 2 areas. We did talk about it a while back, holistically around the lake, and found that, at least from my recollection, that it wasn't really practical to put up no wake buoys, 100 feet out.
Yeah, I agree.
We do have a ordinance that allows us to put the buoys out at the 100-foot mark, and this may be a way around it. And those ordinances have been approved by DEP. If we put just a simple buoy, like the yellow buoys, as opposed to something that's a no wake buoy that has a no wake sign on it, we might be able to support that, because the ordinance allowed for those to be put out random. Well, I won't say randomly. They were at one point they were out at about every 100 yards around the lake to mark the 100 feet offshore. I agree we don't need to have that degree of regulation, but we might just put up a yellow buoy 100 feet off to market and
Where is this?
rely on the ordinance.
Where is this and where is the ordinance? Well, we can find the ordinance later.
It's
Where is-
in the ordinance, ordinances that deal with the lake. It's in there with the other ordinances that talk about approaching the
I got it.
perpendicular and so forth.
The board may cause suitable marking devices to be placed on the unrestricted waters of Columbia Lake, not more than 100 feet from the shore, and at intervals sufficiently frequent that each marker and adjacent markers are clearly visible. No person shall operate a motorboat between such markers and the shore except when leaving or returning to a dock. Okay. No person shall engage in water skiing between the markers. No person shall engage in swimming or bathing beyond the markers. So that's Town Ordinance Section 2B.
Using that ordinance for the 2 swimming areas would seem to make sense, and just to put buoys out, but not to not run afoul of the DEP, not to use no wake buoys.
That makes sense. That really makes sense.
Well, I mean, you know, maybe a subcommittee might be a good thing to look at, you know, a strategy on buoys and markers, because obviously there's the island marker, topic that came up, and, maybe there could be a subcommittee that would, that could look into that further and see what might be a good fit.
I nominate Mike Armstrong. He brought it up
I
for
just-
Stony Road Beach.
Yeah, just interject something on here because I've been asked over the last week about buoys and markers. And this might be a good time. I don't know if we want to think about this as lake management and give something to General Boyd to put in the Columbia views. Because people are complaining, they do not know what the regulations are and they do not know what the ordinances are. And everybody's getting misinformation. So maybe something could go into Columbia views about that?
I mean, it could, don't we have a Columbia Lake guidebook?
Yes. I just read from it.
There's a little pamphlet. They
Yeah.
didn't get reproduced this year because the town was in the process of doing its codification of all of its ordinances, I think. And that may
Okay.
have gotten in the way of doing that.
But
Phyllis,
Phyllis,
what were you talking about? The people don't know which ordinances, what are you talking about? How close to shore they can go?
How close to shore they can go, what they can do, where they can anchor, all different things, and it's just been very interesting. And I was just wondering, because a lot of people come into the lake that don't get that pamphlet. You know, they're town residents, but they don't get a pamphlet.
Yeah,
So-
I think that's true. I haven't seen that pamphlet for years.
I think we need to,
And
and
the
then,
town hall.
yeah, the
Well,
the pamphlet was changed last year unbeknownst to us. So I think we do need to
Oh, I think it's a great idea to resurface that and
Yeah.
somehow get the awareness out.
have that brought back up, redone.
We had talked about this, I think, in last February about doing this so that they could be passed out when their boats are inspected, when they're first put in the beginning of the season. And I think that it got derailed because of the ordinance renumbering
You know,
We got,
process. So I think we just have to get it back on track.
last year, or it was a couple years, we had to get keys to bring our own boats in. And one of the requirements was you have to take a test to get the key. And I'm wondering if we could somehow leverage that to get the typical boater familiar with the regulations and the ordinances the same way.
Sure.
that's not a bad point. We could update that.
You're required to take that refresher every year, and that entitles you to boat on Columbia Lake. And that way there, at least they've read it, even though, they may not remember it all 100%, but if you have to read it every year, at some point, it's going to get instilled in your day to day.
And frankly, the invasive species testing and everything that was put together 5 years ago needs to be updated.
Personally, I thought the invasive species was very good for the average boater because a
Oh, well,
lot of
thank
people
you.
didn't know. So, it's a lot of lessons learned for a lot of people.
Yeah, but then if we can add to it and update,
Agreed.
there was a little hiccup.
Yeah, just a
where-
thought. I mean, it's kind of hard to enforce it with Marine Patrol, because they don't know everything either. So I think if you give everyone a refresh on the general rules and regs, and you do it annually, I think it will go a long way.
As well as supplement by handing out. We should
Oh,
have handed
absolutely,
that out.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those have always been available at the town hall, but I didn't go to the town hall this year, but it was always available. That foldout always had it. They always had it in the town.
Yeah, my only point is no one would ever tell the average boater that shows up to launch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't get to him. It never gets to them.
We had a,
Unless they go on the website, obviously, and read, it's at the town hall or something.
yeah, we had a person across the street who just bought their first boat, just moved here less than 6 months ago. And I supplied him with all that information. He had no clue, no
Yeah.
clue.
Yeah,
And he came from Idaho, and their laws were much different than our laws, much bigger acreage in terms of the lake he was on. We're just a tiny little lake. This is what we do. That's why we're at 150 and 80 and all that stuff with horsepower. So good
Well, you know,
points.
I'm wondering if you could somehow tie it to the safety sticker that's issued by Marine Patrol. You have to, in order for you to launch your boat, you have to either show some kind of documentation that you finished the familiarization course. And then once your boat's inspected, he'll give you the sticker inclusive of that document or something. Just throwing out ideas. We don't have to solve it here, but
Yeah, good thoughts.
would you like to, Bob, would you like to take the lead on that and, take the next step?
yeah, I could do that. Come up with some ideas, and maybe we can leverage the gate lock site. I don't know if that'll complicate things, but we'll look at it.
Well, like you said, I mean, I think there's certain points of entry, right, that we have opportunities to communicate these regulations and ordinances.
Yeah.
And how are we maximizing communication at those points?
And education, yep.
And the other thing is you don't want to wait too long. You make sure that the average boater in Columbia knows, a month before it's ready to launch, that this is going to be a requirement.
Yeah.
So you got to get that communication out there as well.
Um,
Not trying
I
to add
would-
more regulations or anything, but I think this would be a good idea.
I think it would be a good idea for you, Bob, to start by talking with Steve Everett and get his read on it, because the selectmen are, after the gate lock uprising in the town, they're very sensitive to anything that gets in the way of a townsperson putting a boat on the lake. So I think before you spend a lot of time on it, getting him on board with the concept would be a good idea. I think it's a great concept.
Yeah, Henry, I fully agree. I've talked to Steve about the gate issue, and I've had some complaints as well. I live right next door, and I've heard a lot of issues. But yeah, Steve, I'll get with him first, and then we'll start out and kick some ideas around.
Bob, I'm happy to help you if you want to update any of the materials and or add to the aquatic and invasive species course that they had to take to get the key, because I developed all those materials.
Okay, good. We'll do.
So, just for what it's worth, it's a fairly long way around to try to get to those regulations through the town website. I mean, you have to know that they would be on the Lake Management Advisory Committee. So, I mean, there may be an opportunity as well on the website to publish those, and there may be a little bit of a different.
Well, that could be an option too, Mike, where we add a link that points you directly to 2 or 3 specific things. You may be invasive species, maybe boating safeties, and then Columbia rules and regs. And
Well,
it takes you right there, and you don't have to go digging for it.
It would also seem to be a good idea to have more of a focus on that seasonally, so that it can be right up front on the homepage for new people from Memorial Day to Columbus Day or something, so that it's front and center.
Good point.
And the other thing, I don't know if we would consider doing this, but at some type of town event or something, have a little boating safety booth for Columbia Lake or something.
You're here.
Wherever that may be, or just we can keep that in the back of our heads as something comes up.
Yep.
Great.
I think you hit upon it at the beginning, where when the ticket or when the sticker is issued, the guy giving the sticker should hand out the folder, 1 for 1, and that should take care of most everybody who's on the lake.
Yeah, you're thinking what you're thinking is he's already completed it. he doesn't get a sticker until he hands the Marine Patrol that document. Is that your point?
No, the Marine Patrol hands them the copy of that and asks them to read it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's,
I like it, but I think it's too late
Yeah.
at that point. I
Yep.
wanted somehow instill it a little bit deeper than just doing a flyby when they're both anxious, when they're anxious to get their boat in the lake. I don't know, just, I'm not
I
saying,
agree, Bob. Yeah, I think it has to be done beforehand because people aren't gonna stop and read the pamphlet right there.
yeah, just, you know, and somebody may say, oh, just read it when you get home or something. And
But I mean, it may be a
they're not going to.
multi-pack, but at least that is one,
One facet of
at
it.
one point where there is, you know, attention and contact, right? Because they want their sticker, so how can we maximize that point of communication? So,
Ed- Education is about reinforcement and repetition. So the
Right.
more thoughts we can do that help with the education, the better we are. I can tell you when Marine Patrol is not on this lake, it's unbelievable the things I have seen. And I
Yeah.
don't, I don't think people intentionally wait until Marine Patrol is off the lake. But we had 5 kids on a tube last week. 5 kids on a tube.
yeah.
Come on, you don't know
No,
that
the
rule?
the other, again, I don't want to solve it here, but the other idea is we could modify the sticker and put the 5 highlighted key rules on the sticker.
There you go.
That's
I'm
interesting.
liking this, Bob. Keep it going.
Well, we did talk about last spring having, Marine Patrol highlight certain rules every year as a way of education, but we're talking about education. All these are great ideas.
Yep, exactly. Points of emphasis are fine, but we've had 20 people pulled over this year already. That's it. Per our report.
Yeah.
I think there's more than 20 violations.
Oh, I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, it's probably another 20 or 40 out there that didn't get pulled over.
Exactly.
Warnings and pullovers, so.
It's
Well,
it's
So
a
here's-
tiny lake.
So here's an interesting metric, talking about points of communication. So there were 20 warnings / pullovers, and there were 188 stickers issued. So, I mean, where's the point of
Right.
Of emphasis. Yeah,
well, but where's our opportunity to connect with people?
exactly.
It's when they're getting the sticker.
Yeah, you know what? Just another comment while we're on this. We've had the Safe Boaters course for the state. I don't know for how many years now, 15 or so. I can't remember when I received mine, but
About 30.
but no one ever teaches you how to drive a boat.
That's true.
Nobody knows how to push the throttle forward, reverse. That's all self-taught. And you're assuming that people are taught correctly out there, or they're taught what the rules of the roads are or the ordinances. They don't know any of that. I've seen some pretty horrific things out there with people hitting the throttle wrong, with people, flying off and falling down. And so I always thought, where's the course for the boating to learn the actual vehicle that they're driving?
It's a good point.
An
Excellent point.
Like driving school.
Yeah, there is no driving school. I remember we all got our licenses through Mark, but you learn the rules of the road of the Coast Guard, but you don't learn how to operate a boat. It's your parents who teach you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was my dad. Rule number 1, if ever you think something's going to happen, stop, slow down.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people just gun it and say, I'm getting through this?
Yeah. Or they're coming in too hot. They're coming in too fast. Yeah.
Or they think that going fast and staying on course establishes right away.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yikes. Oh,
Anyway, okay.
All right.
I'm gonna stop talking.
$1,200
Thank you,
bucks
Bob.
in Florida, you can get a high performance lesson. You could even use their boat. $1,200 for a high performance.
You know what? I like it. You'd have a better boater on Columbia Lake if you run them through a school like that.
Send
Absolutely.
everybody to Florida.
Absolutely would.
Have you established a subcommittee or is Bob just
Well,
going to?
Bob's
take-
gonna.
You know what,
take-
let me start it, and like Mary said, if I need help, I'll contact her, but I think I got some work to do. I'll talk to Steve and kick up some ideas, maybe highlight some of the things I mentioned tonight.
Cool.
Put 'em
So
together.
Bob is the committee of one.
Yes.
I heard Jim Santos, he also,
Yeah, Jimmy in his absence, right?
so now there's a committee of two. Bob is Jim's
Yeah, we
boss,
can recruit Jimmy. I'm sure he can help.
Uh,
chair of that subcommittee, and Jim is his minion.
There's the blue light. Looking at the blue light on the lake.
Yeah, there, it's after sunset. Hey, I'm running out of time because I got another meeting, believe it or not, at 9 o'clock. So I'm gonna be sure we get through our,
So let's,
I don't blow our quorum by leaving.
yes, watershed management plan. No. Stormwater culverts, any activity with all the rains, any?
I'll table, I want to talk to Jim and Mike about a motion that we've been chatting about, but I'll table it till September because they're both not here.
Okay, fair enough. Do you want us to, okay, that's fine. We could
Old
put it in
business.
new business. What's
Yeah,
that?
keep it under old business.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I see it. Yep. Okay, thank you. The dam emergency plan.
Looks
Okay.
good.
Permit review, there was one permit, right, from Bob Powell?
Oh, really?
Is Bob with us tonight? No.
Didn't get
He
it.
is not, hold on, give me a second. Um. Um. I'm sorry, I'll come back to that. And budget review, Carl was kind of taking the lead on that. And so I will, I'll check back with Mark Walter on that.
Okay.
And see how that. And so now we have these kind of under old business, we have the island marker, the addition of possible hazard marker on the islands was brought up. And now we're talking about, possibly doing some buoy markers for no wake zone. Any movement there as far as the island marker?
Nobody followed it on that.
Well, I was not at that meeting, but back when Carmen Vance was first selectman, I was looking to improve those marks and to do it with a contribution of marks from my dad's estate. And it was determined that we didn't want to do anything at the selectman level because it would involve DEP again. And so part of why we got those highway barrels out there is because historically they've just kind of been there and replaced and haven't drawn attention. But we do have to try to tackle these issues, and we may have to deal with DEP on this one issue and have better markers at the island and have no wake buoys. But we should probably bring that up again in September, since we're really past it on this season when Jim Santos is here, because he's usually speaks the most strongly with respect to the issue of not getting the state involved. And I think we want to have another conversation on that and look to see whether this isn't one issue where we might want to make an exception.
Okay, well, and then at that point, I guess, does it make sense if we're gonna go to the well, do we look at, you know, the no wake zone thing as well?
Exactly. We get it, if we're gonna go and get buoys done, let's get them all done at one time.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that issue, Phyllis, will stay, but it'll be really the island marker review as well as the
Boys,
buoy, no wake zone buoys.
okay,
And-
September,
Yeah,
new business? or
well,
you
no,
wanna
it's
just-
the old business, we'll just
Okay,
leave it
keep it
as.
under
we'll
old.
just,
Hey,
yeah.
Mike, wasn't the island marker repainted or something? It looked a lot brighter orange to me recently.
I don't
Sen-
know.
I think
since-
it's been the same. I think they might, the reflectors on it, I don't think it's changed at all.
No, because I remember when Glenn Keegan brought it up, a couple meetings ago, we had
Yeah.
that as an agenda item, but it was pretty well faded, but I've gone by it recently and it seems a lot brighter to me. It looks like somebody either replaced it or maybe I'm wrong, but maybe it's just maybe the rain or something. I don't know.
Rain cleaned it.
It looked better. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, honestly, there wasn't anything wrong with it. I thought it was fine because I thought it was bright enough.
Yeah, okay. Well, right now, it's just really, there's no action on it other than to review it, so. I would
All right.
just-
Okay.
And then erosion of the town pier, does anybody have any updates? I think Mark Walter was.
Mark has that, he said he was going to bring it to the next meeting.
Okay, all right, so we'll leave that there. Beach access and safety after hours, was there any resolution on that?
Not that
It's a
I'm aware
Mark thing.
of. Yeah,
Erdoney Beach area, reevaluate swim area and signage.
mhm.
That's
No,
a
no.
Mark Walter.
Okay. Registrations, cross-checking at boat launch. What was that item?
Mark was going to try and figure out if there was a way that you could check the horsepower on an engine when you're putting your boat in.
Okay,
And when you have the registration, can they look at it and see what it is? So that's another Mark.
okay. All right, let's see here. So we have, I apologize, two things. One is that the only permit we had was that Mr. Hud applied for a raft, and it was recommended that the raft be approved. To the Board of Selectmen at their next meeting, so that was the only activity.
What is his number on 87? Did you know?
It is 184 Route 87,
Oh, okay,
Robert Hud.
thank you.
And then the other communication that just looking here was not part of, we didn't talk about it, but there was the dam inspection report. Did everybody get a copy of this?
No.
Yes,
emergency?
it was emailed,
It was emailed,
I think.
I printed off the first two pages here, but.
Okay,
Who did it come from?
yeah,
Who did the email come from?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Oh, let me look it up. It came from somebody because I read it last night. Whew.
dam emergency plan, huh?
No, it was the dam
No, it's
report,
an
but
inspection.
Phyllis put it out.
I did, huh?
Yeah.
I better not have a problem.
Phyllis
that.
sent it on July 23rd,
There you go.
3:38.
LMAC minutes, please see attached, blah, blah, blah. And a dam inspection report is attached to it for minutes from July. Yep, thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Sounded like all was well at the dam. I read it last night. There's a couple little cleanup areas, and part of the cleanup happened just before the 5 inches of rain that was suggested in the report, and I know Beth had it all cleaned up.
Yeah, the town crew had been there. I saw them. Who did the inspection report? Is that local or was that a state report?
No, it was a,
Full
what do I
engineer.
want? Outside consultant,
Ci-
civil engineers.
Civil engineering services and
Is
over
that Pelletier?
Yep.
Is that Ed Pelletier, maybe?
It looks like Pelletier was part of it, but
Yeah,
that's not his firm.
yeah, no, it isn't, but you're right.
So Ed might have been a sub-consultant on that, is my guess.
Okay, because I saw his name in it.
Yeah,
So, okay, and then, all right, anything else that we want to talk about as far as the dam report? All right, and then, Mary, we have the RFP.
Yeah, Mark Walter asked us to put together an RFP so that for the year 2022 fiscal year, we could engage and evaluate the potential for a water quality / water management consultant for Columbia Lake and the wetlands. Myself, Carl Foster, and Henry have put together the request for proposal. We are at draft number 4. We provided it to everyone. I think the key element, because a lot of it is just typical request for proposal stuff, is page 2, where you really get into the scope of work and task description. And I am ready to make a motion that we move this forward. I talked to Mark just before he went on vacation. There is a sense of urgency from him to want to build in a timeline where he can get it out in August, no later than end of August, give people 8 weeks and maybe an extension so that they have proposals on hand and we all can review it in line with the budget process that'll start to really, I guess, accelerate in December and January of 2022. So the RFP is there for your review, and I'll open it for comments, additions, deletions, feedback, and thank Carl and Henry for their review as well as their edits and feedback to date, which is why we're at draft 4. 3 of us have already put together pretty much. And Henry, I would suspect yours is from not only a content perspective, but the legal perspective.
Well, to a limited extent that, yes, but I do recommend that we have Mark to have Heller and Sage look at it quickly just to make sure that there's nothing from a boilerplate point of view that's missing, because I think that Mark has used some before that have had some problems. But the general approach of this is to because of the fact that we're starting a process that's likely going to be repetitive for a number of years, to have it be general and very open and not necessarily focus on any one particular thing, and to give us an opportunity in the process to pick the brains of the consultants to come back and tell us this is what we think you should be doing, so that if consultant A is telling us this, but we want to go with consultant B, we can tell consultant B to add it to their task list. And it also is possible for budget or whatever that we may determine we're going to cut task number 2 or something like that. So by having it done this way, you can do that. And it may be that we determine that one of those items was so good by one consultant that didn't do anything else to really wow us that we decide that we're going to give one task to one consultant and everything else to another consultant. Not likely, but plausible. So it gives us the maximum flexibility, and I think we need to likely be prepared to be reading responses in the end of October and having our November and December meetings likely, or even a special meeting to interview several or at least two if we're going to be making changes, which I think we are, or potentially. So this is going to require a fair amount of effort over the next quarter, but hopefully after we've made the choice, it'll be an excellent one and we'll get good results next year. And then it'll just be a matter of rubber stamping it for a few years going forward until we decide we want to take it to the market again.
So any thoughts, discussions, questions, particularly relative to the work of the scope of work, which was page 2. There were 8 items.
I think you did an excellent job, Mary and Henry and Carl too. Thank you. I mean, it looks fabulous.
I think it's standard. I've kind of vetted it against other proposals that I've seen online, as did Mark Walter, suggests that I do. And I think Henry has really added to the flavor of that with the generality versus some of the specifics we might have had in just because we've done it before. Examples is one thing, but having it be more fluid in general, I think that was kind of put its mark on it.
One of the key things that it looks to do is to assemble historic materials so that we educate our consultants so that they don't end up redoing what we already did in 1990.
Reinventing the wheel.
Yeah, right. So we want them to invest time to look over what we've done, and we've certainly got the lake management plan. But there are various other things like the benthic study and the fact that Portman was doing a fish analysis every 5 years or whatever. We really need to try to assemble that so that the new people look at it and say, all right, we want to continue that, and we'll add to it, or we'll take it off, and they don't come on and tell us to do something that got ruled out because of something that was already uniquely known about the lake or whatever.
And I apologize if I missed this, but did you guys specify a format of reporting of the information so that we don't, because one of the, I think, as I recall, one of the challenges that we have with Dr. Portman is that there's lots of data, but it's hard to collate and actually evaluate it to try to find trends over certain periods of time.
Yeah,
That's in there. Henry, please.
There's a requirement for a report. There's a requirement for them to give us a sample of what it'll look like. I think Mary, which was good. And there's also a task that says take what we've got historically and make it fit the new form, so that we can recapture some of what we've already done.
Okay, got it. Sorry, that was redundant.
No, Mike, it's in there. Point 3 is that we want a proposal of a sample of monthly and annual report formats. And point 4 is we want them to review and assess historic data previously gathered, blah, blah, blah. So
Okay, I got it now. All right,
we're there.
thank you, sorry.
Hey,
Yep.
Mary, on that administrative time, I did have one question on that. Is that administrative time from the vendors charging us, or is that our time, administrative time?
Now there's,
And
Go
I
ahead, Henry.
use the word administrative because we wanted to have it be key that it's something that they should be able to put their staff on and bill us low. We don't expect a PhD to be doing that.
yes.
Thanks.
Okay.
So, Bob, any thoughts? David, any thoughts? Mike or Phyllis?
No,
No?
Good.
I think we're at a point, if discussion is ended, that we have a motion to move this to Mark Walter as the town administrator for his review, legal analysis, and his action steps that will be required for him to send out a request for proposal.
that's a motion, I second it.
Okay,
Was that a motion?
that was a
That was
motion.
a motion.
So if that's a motion, I second it.
Okay.
All right, Phyllis, you got that? We got a motion, we got second. It's up to you, Mike.
Oh, any further discussion? All in favor?
I
Any opposed? And, all right, any abstentions? We're good, we're clean. Thank you all for your work on this. I think this will be a great step forward for both the future, but also a better understanding the past.
Mike, one other thought, and Mark brought this up to me just before he went on vacation. If we were to have a motion for this to move forward in the town with him getting the request for proposal out, he is asking for any vendors that we may be aware of. I am aware of probably 5 or 6 because of my alignment with the Connecticut Federation of Lakes vendors where Mark would like to ensure that they get this information and that it's sent to them. So instead, in lieu of the time here, maybe a quick email to everyone saying, this is where we're at, and have the email come from Mark. Are there any others, any vendors that specifically, obviously ecosystem, there's a Northeastern Aquatic with George Knocklane, who's a limnologist. There's a Solitude, there's a Lake Pond and Management, et cetera. So we can just get information out and make sure we're trying to get as many proposals in as possible.
Okay.
So just have him send an email to LMAC. For anybody who may have other,
Have Mark send the email?
yeah, have Mark Walter do it.
Okay.
So it's a request for sources.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Any other items? Oh, I see.
Before we leave this one, someone and likely Mark ought to diplomatically explain it to what we're doing to ecosystems, so they just don't get it in the mail or in an
Oh,
email.
absolutely. And we've had a preliminary discussion about that. Mark will do that, Henry.
Okay.
There is some, what do I want to say? There's some back channel communications that ecosystems may be aware of this. And, you know, if they are fine, if they aren't fine, but Mark will officially do something.
And that's ecosystems is where Cortman is now. Is that
Correct. That's Cortman. We have not been communicating with Cortman, Mark or I, as the liaison for LMAC. We've been communicating only with Ben Burpee. who
Yeah.
is the scientist he's had on board now for over, well, almost 2 years.
Yeah, I think Cortman is probably heading to retirement or,
Time will tell. Obviously, his firm was bought out,
yeah.
and we haven't even connected with those people yet. And we have, through some channels, tried to do that, particularly Mark. So we'll see. I don't
Yeah.
know who's running the show there anymore.
Mhm.
But Bob has not returned any phone calls, which is
Mhm.
funny to me because we
Yeah.
had a good relationship. So I don't know
Yeah,
what's going on.
yeah.
Do we have any other,
Just
Yeah.
a quick heads up. In a totally separate discussion, I think some of you remember Greg Bugby, who's the scientist from Connecticut Agriculture who helped us with invasive species. Greg is obviously a professional acquaintance, but he's become a little bit of a friend because of some personal issues that we're both experiencing with our family. Happenstance, in a discussion with Greg, he received an email and he characterized it as one of hundreds that I get, that someone had sent an email, he wouldn't tell me who, and that's fine, that had indicated that Columbia Lake is full of quote unquote milfoil. And I
Let them
said,
believe it. Let them believe it and let them stay away.
they won't stay away. I will
Hopefully
guarantee
it's
you.
not somebody who's planning to dump it in here.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have had some issue on Erdoney Road and Route 87 with a native plant that can cyclically become, every 9 to 10 years, a little bit of an issue, called Elodea natali, or western weed, or nut tally weed. I've taken personally 6 wheelbarrows full of it out of the lake this year. When you have a low, hypothetically, according to Greg, if you have a low lake level and a lot of sunlight, in 1 week, this can become a plant that goes right to just below the surface. And I think that's probably what happened this year. It happened in 2012. I have some notes on it, and it happened back in the early 2000s. So it's not milfoil. We did have ecosystem assess a bag full of it, and it's a nuisance native plant. And every once in a while, it will be a nuisance. So if you guys are hearing milfoil, please, it doesn't even look like milfoil, this stuff.
Do you have a picture that you could send to us all?
Yeah, I did a ripples about 2 weeks ago to get it out to the CLA, but
Okay.
I'll resend it.
It's in the pictures in the ripples.
Yes, but I'm happy to resend it to LMAC so everybody knows there's no milfoil on our lake. And today, fingers crossed, there's no invasive species.
Mhm.
Hey.
all right, sounds good. All right, any other items?
Hey, so Henry, I get out of work at 4:30 tomorrow. I'm gonna go over and have a look at that buoy.
All right, well, let me,
Okay, well, why don't, if we're not stormed out, why don't you want to swing by my dock and just pick me up? You can just give me a shout before you leave yours, and we'll take care of it.
Okay,
Cool.
sounds good. About 4:30.
wait, I gotta stop the recording here, right? To stop the recording? Right?
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna adjourn the meeting at 8:37, and I'm stopping, so yes.